From the crowd. Now she's bedless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Get done a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome into episode 44 of Phired Up, presented by the Belly Up Podcast Network. Check them out at bellyupsports.com. My name is Mike Gilletto. Joining me, as always, is Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How was your week? How was your weekend? Everything go according to plan? Keep you busy? What's new?
Yeah. I mean, I was supposed to go out for the Sixers game on Friday. Didn't work out. But that was fine because I had a long day at work, so wanted to relax and chill. Saturday, Sunday was pretty chill. It's kind of sucked another week without football. And it was the last week of what we talked about last week, Euphoria. It was the season finale.
How was it?
So it was a little underwhelming, yeah.
A little underwhelming? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really say. I can't really speak.
But it was a good
much
season.
On that, but
it was a good season as a whole, but just a little underwhelming finale.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing. Just chilling.
Yeah. No, exactly. Listen,
waiting for the Sixers like a fiend.
It was must watch TV, right? Friday night. James Harden debut against Minnesota, and they balled. Listen, I'm gonna do it. All right, let's just play the song nice and early. I have to, right? What a day!
2 wins, baby.
What a great 2 games. I mean, just the offense just looked different, and I'm not gonna come on and be all doom and gloom, right? Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah,
we're in the honeymoon phase right now. Things can go crashing quick. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, this reminds me of, when we used to play the Eagles fight song, which feels like centuries ago, but it was a month and a half ago. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
This is my favorite part.
Sing along, dance.
Yeah, there we go.
Have fun. So yeah, I mean, it was a great all-around matchup. I mean, James Harden obviously didn't disappoint, right?
No, absolutely not. Just the whole team in general. Listen, he is the type of guy that makes everybody on the court better. It makes it more electric, and we see how great of a scorer he is, how great of a player he is, just from 2 games.
Absolutely. No, he's been great. And the thing that I'm impressed, and I didn't really watch him too much. Obviously, I didn't really watch him at all in Brooklyn. There was things were a mess there, it seemed like. But even in the days in Houston, I didn't really watch him that closely. But not only is he a scorer, he can dish it too. Like he's
absolutely
he's a playmaker that I don't think anybody really expected.
Well, here's the thing too. I had somebody on Friday afternoon tell me, "Oh, you excited for Harden?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. How about you?" "Oh, yeah, he's a ball hog. I don't know how I'm gonna feel." And I laid the facts right out for him. I said, The last 4 seasons, he's averaged over 10 or more a game.
Yep.
So that's not, that's double-digit assists. Like, that's not something that just grows on trees. A guy that he's averaged 30 over 3 times in his career. He averaged, I think, 30, 34, 36, which 34 and 36 are just stupid. I mean, I mean, no, like Jordan, average those kinds of numbers. I'm not calling him Jordan, but just an amazing all-around offensive player. And guess what? He's not too shabby defensively either. I mean,
not at all.
He's not a great defender, but when he's willing to defend, I mean, we saw a couple steals, a couple tipped passes and stuff,
Right. Yeah, I can like, and the fact that he's just able to kind of just give the whole offense space, right? Like Embiid said, it's the most space he's ever had, in a game or in 2 games or whatever, whatever it's been. But it just so much space, and obviously Embiid's playing at the top of his game. But not only Embiid, like we're seeing an insane breakout from Tyrese Maxey.
Right. So before we get into Maxey, let me talk a little bit about Embiid. I don't know if you heard, or anybody who's listening, watching, has heard this on the I don't know if it was during the game or the pregame or whatever it was. Yesterday or Sunday, they had said that Embiid averages. Okay, so he scores on 48% of assisted passes before Harden came here.
Okay.
The last 2 games, he has scored on 80% of assists.
Listen, small sample size.
Right, but that's a jump.
That's a jump. Absolutely.
That just tells you exactly what you just said about Embiid. Yeah, getting better looks, more space. Listen, I said it on the show last week or maybe even the week before that, these 2 guys on this court, you could try to double team them, but it ain't going to work. I mean, even if you have Harden on one side of the court and Embiid's on the other, and he gets double teamed, like you said, your boy Maxey wide open. You know what I mean? And he hits those shots. Listen, I have a lot of notes here about Maxey, so we're gonna. This is gonna be a love episode.
Listen,
for Maxey.
I tweeted it out. I don't know if you saw it, but
I did.
I'm not the biggest basketball fan, right? Out of the 4 major sports, it's last for me. Maxey's slowly becoming my favorite player in the city. He's
like on like basketball or just like in general?
No, in general.
Wow. Okay.
In general, in the city, he's becoming one of my favorite.
Yeah, I would say that I'm one of my favorite too, but probably, maybe not my favorite. Like, I love Harper.
Goes 100 miles an hour all the time, 100% effort all the time.
You got to play it. You got to play the drop.
Are we talking this one? Hold on, I didn't have my.
You got to play the drop. He's the fastest kid alive.
Oh, all right, hold.
He's the fastest kid alive.
There we go.
Yep.
Yep. But no, he just goes 100 miles an hour, and he enjoys doing it, which is great. Like he's always having fun. And no matter what time, when you see him, he just always has a smile on his face. It's great.
Yeah. And listen, I took a lot of notes here. I can go on and on about Maxey. Do you want me to? I mean,
go for it.
I can.
This is going to be a Maxey love fest.
Yes, that's the name of the episode right there.
There you go.
So listen, like to me, just watching him, like Maxey, he has shown in like a shorter period of time, that he has worked on his game. Like in the off season, when he was drafted, he wasn't this point guard. He wasn't even a point guard. He was a shooting guard out of Kentucky. He never played point guard, never facilitated, never, controlled the game. So him jumping from Kentucky to the college to the NBA and being versatile and being willing to like step up. I mean, we didn't see that from the other guy. Like this guy's trying to get better. This guy cares.
I like how we're not even going to say his name. The other guy.
Yeah. So, we saw like the other guy, when he was on the roster, we saw the off-season workouts. We saw all that fun stuff, the stuff that, we thought was going to be, and it never translated to the actual game. And now we're seeing a guy who actually goes out there, loves the game, working, and it translates to the game. You could tell one guy loves the game, the other guy loves what comes with the game.
Yep.
So, and listen, the other thing that this kid has that the other guy doesn't, he's got a set of balls to absolutely hit a step, not even hit it, just to attempt that step back 3, in Madison Square Garden to ice the game. Like,
Yep.
and then he hits it. Like,
Right. Exactly. An absurd shot. Is that the
I mean-
is that the shot? Is that the shot where I texted you and I said, "Jesus Christ, Maxie"?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
It was,
It ices the game. It's a huge shot in New York
right. Yeah.
at Madison Square Garden.
Which
Like,
listen,
that's no
listen,
joke.
A lot of Sixers fans there. I'll be honest. It
Yeah.
sounded like a home game.
There were a lot of celebrities there too.
Yeah, there were. I saw that.
A couple. I think it was Pete Davidson, John Stewart, Ben Stiller, I believe,
Okay,
and then
it was-
obviously Spike. You know,
Right, well,
season
yeah.
ticket holder.
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's been really fun. These last couple games.
Yeah, it has.
And I can even throw another thing out. Or, you know
keep
what?
going. No, keep going.
Well, it's
You're on
not
a
about
roll.
Maxi. It's not about
Okay,
Maxi,
all right,
but
that's fine.
it's about Harden. But
Okay, go ahead because I was actually about to transition to Harden. So
Okay.
give me what you have about Harden.
So you know, listen, I think I was in the shower and I was just thinking this yesterday. I'm sitting there and I'm like,
Where all
man,
great thoughts are made.
exactly, either that or the shitter. But yeah, this one came in the shower.
Right.
So you know, listen, Harden, he's willing to shoot, right? Like that's one thing, right? Another thing is he can hit those shots, and then you add
For
on
sure.
that he can shoot the three. He's willing to take the three. Then you add the step back, which is on another level. He hits those shots. He hits that step back three.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
And then you know we just traded a guy who wasn't willing to do that first thing. He wasn't willing to shoot.
Right. Just not
So,
at
like,
all. Just wouldn't even
right.
shoot. Wouldn't even try. Right.
Right. And like this national media is crazy. Like I don't know if you've seen any of this recently. The last like 24 hours.
About Simmons, about Harden.
Just
About
just
what?
how there's a lot of people on you know, I'm not going to name names here cuz you know, we don't get that. No, I mean the network.
Oh, okay.
The major network, you know,
Right.
the one major sports network. You know, we don't get that moolah from them. So
No.
maybe one day, but
Yeah, maybe we'll get there.
but anyway, you know, a lot of these people on these TV shows today saying, you know, they don't think that Embiid and Harden are a top 5 duo in the East, let alone the NBA.
I mean, who else do you have?
Kyrie and Durant,
Get-
but they've yet
with
to
the
like
way Embiid-
even
with the way
play.
Embiid's playing.
Yeah,
playing?
I know.
With the way Embiid's playing, he's playing like the best player in the NBA. Period. And then you add a guy like James Harden to that. I mean,
No,
I
they're the
can't-
best duo in the East,
Right,
easily.
that's what I'm saying.
No, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Who are you
exactly.
going to say? Jimmy Butler and Bam out of Adebayo, whatever the fuck is
You can't even
name
say
is.
his name.
Yeah, Adebayo.
I never heard of him.
He's probably like the 4th or 5th best center. in the league. He's actually pretty good, but like, I don't know who else. Chris Middleton and Giannis. Like, Chris Middleton's a nice player, but like, he's not Harden or Embiid. Embiid is the best player in the world right now. Like you just said, like it doesn't make sense. It's just these people like talk and like they just, to me, it's like it's that old formula where like, okay, let's see something crazy. Let's get the views.
Well,
If
it's not
we're
even
wrong,
something. It's not even something crazy in general. I've noticed a lot of the talking heads like on those networks and everything. A lot of times they'll say something not only crazy in general, but crazy towards Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because they know they're such a rabid fan base.
Right.
And they know they could just say whatever and it's just going to blow up and it's going to be this massive thing that's going to make a bunch of noise. So I get it. I get why they do it. Cowherd does it. Stephen A.
Right.
does it. Skip does They all do it. I get it. But
see, but like,
yeah.
and like that's the thing. It's like to me, like I don't know. I'm we're gonna get a little off track about what I'm about to say, but like I don't know. Like I feel like Colin Cowherd is kind of just dumb, and he says stupid shit.
Sure.
But like
Yeah.
Skip is actually like a smart guy, but says dumb shit to get views. Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
Like
sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Cowherd does it too. Like they all do it. That's why they're there. But
Yeah,
but still, it's just like it's the old formula where like we're gonna say something crazy to tick people off, and if we're wrong, then we're wrong, but if we're right, we look like geniuses.
exactly, for sure. Yeah.
So
And listen, I said it earlier, like right now we're in the honeymoon phase, right? Everything is going great. James Harden has a track record of this thing ending possibly in a messy divorce. It's
Right.
just reality. Do I hope it gets there? Obviously not, but it's something that we have to be cautious of. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, you know, right, like looking long term. Could it be? Hopefully. Maybe. Who knows?
Right.
But right now, it looks. I mean, it looks like a slam dunk for Daryl Morey.
Yeah, and listen, he's 32. He's not 25 anymore. I will say this as somebody who's watched him most of all of his career, basically. He looks a little bit different here, and I'm not saying that because I'm wearing the blue shades or anything like that, but there were like 4, 5, 6 times he gave up an open shot to have somebody else take that open shot,
Yeah.
like Maxi or Tobias or Joel or Thibault. Like, he's done that most of his career, but he's not looking to give up open shots.
Right.
Like, it's a little bit different. I mean, again, like you said, 2 games, honeymoon phase. Things could be totally different in 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's really started off on the right foot.
Right. And there's obviously been criticism of James Harden being a poor teammate. What do you take from him visibly looking pissed off at Danny Green in that inbound play? Did you see this?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Do you take anything from that, or do you think it's going to linger in the locker room between the two and it's going to create some sort of drama, or am I reading too much into that?
No, I think, listen, they're both veterans in this league. They've both played for 10 plus years or whatever it is. I don't think it's going to be a locker room thing. I don't.
Okay.
But again, you got 2 guys who like to lead a team. Danny Green is a big guy on the court for the Sixers. We saw his absence in the playoffs last year, where even though he might not be hitting shots or taking shots or anything like that, he's a coach on the court. So like,
right.
And then you have James Harden, who comes in as the new guy, but again, he's been a veteran for so long. He's been to the playoffs. Obviously he's never been past the second round, I don't believe. Well, aside from being in OKC, but being the guy. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that James Harden is just more. He's taking on a leadership role, in a sense.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Sure. Right.
We'll see.
Right. Really, the only thing that matters is it seems like Harden and Joel are meshing.
Yeah.
They seem like just a dominant duo, and Maxi, right? And obviously things are looking great on the offense, but I mean, I gotta talk about the downside. Tobias Harris, right? Sunday against New York, 3 for 9. Friday, 2 for 9. He's not at a level where he should be at. When I remember when he was like your second or third best scorer, you say you can't have him as your second or third best scorer. Right now, he's probably your fourth, and I don't even know if we can rely on him to be that. What's going on with Tobias Harrison? I mean, is he a starter on this team, or should he be?
I think people need to pump their brakes a little bit.
Okay.
Listen, it's been a weird year. Earlier in the year, he had COVID. It took him a while to get back into things. Then finally, the beginning of January, I would say, he started picking things up. He was hot for a month and a half. And then finally he cooled off a little bit. Listen, he's getting those open shots. Like, he's getting those smart shots. He's taking smart shots. He's just not hitting them. And like, sometimes you go into a slump. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like being a baseball player and you're 0 for 20, 0 for 25. And it just, sometimes you just, and listen, it's an analogy of that is he's watching the fastball right down the middle during a slump, and like, you need to swing the bat, on those pitches. You have to know when to swing the bat on those pitches, and he's not doing it. But listen, let's talk in another week, or maybe like another 2 weeks or so. Let them gel a little bit more. Let him find his role, because that's what his role has changed on this team in
for sure.
the matter of games. Like, 3 games ago, he was a totally different, option. Now,
yeah.
Things are totally different right now. So
sure.
I would say just let people really need to give him a chance to find himself in find his role on this team.
For sure. And he, like you said, I mean, he's by nature, he's a very streaky guy. Like, I'm looking at his month to month breakdown. In October, he shot 55%.
Is that just this year?
This year, yes.
Okay.
October, he shot almost 55%. November, he shot 43%. December, he shot 41%. And then January, he shot 51%. And then this month, in February, February's over, but February, he shot 49%. So he's kind of all over the map when it comes to shooting percentage. He's just a streaky guy.
See, I actually disagree completely that he's a streaky guy. Maybe,
That's what the
like I
numbers
said,
say, like
like
month to
but
month. Yeah.
but shooting 50. What was it? 51 and 55. He started 55 in October. You said.
Yeah, October he's 55. That was his best month. Only
But
granted, only
55 to 51
6 or
isn't
7
that
games.
isn't that drastic. November, like I said, he had shooting 43% coming back from COVID.
Sure. Yeah.
November, December. Look at his career. He's a guy who averages 19 or 20, 18 or 19, 20, whatever it is, and 8.
Right.
That's
Okay.
that's a very good basketball player. I understand people are frustrated that. I just think people need to chill out with him. You know, give me 20 and 8. You know what I mean? Especially as your third best scorer now, he's going to give you 15 and you're going to win. I just think that people need to chill out, let him find his role on this team.
Yeah, I mean, on the season, he's still averaging 18.3 points a game.
Right.
Right. Over 7 rebounds. So I mean, he's still producing. And yeah, I mean, maybe he just needs more time to get into that new role because I mean, he's not a top 2 or 3 option on this team anymore. He's
No,
probably
absolutely not.
Their 4th guy at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and if he could start hitting those shots,
Right.
and he can get out of this slump, I mean, look out. I mean,
Yeah,
already
true.
look out. Look
Right.
at them the last 2-3 games. Even the Milwaukee game before the All-Star break, before Harden played, they looked really good. So.
Well, yeah, and B dropped what 42 that game.
It might have been more.
Nah,
Maybe it was.
I think it was 42.
Okay.
Yeah, 37 minutes, 42.
Okay.
Points. Yep.
But yeah, it's just and maybe I'm a little bit of a Tobias homer.
Okay.
But I don't like the guys who do one thing on the court, and if they can't do that, Korkmaz. If you can't do it, they're useless. If you can't shoot,
hate Korkmaz.
I can't stand them because you play 13 games and he's ice cold, and then he comes out and he puts up 30, and then he's cold for another 10 games. All he could do is shoot. He can get to the bucket a little bit here and there, but he doesn't do it enough. And dude, he can't facilitate. He can't pass the ball. He can't dribble. It's amazing. He shoots. If he can't shoot the 3, then he's useless. And I don't understand what people seeing that. But Tobias does a little bit more. He's not a great defender, but he's willing to defend, and he shut people down. Before a couple. Who was it? A couple games ago. I think it was against Phoenix a couple weeks ago. I forget who it was, but he had played well enough to keep them in the game. And but this thing, he rebounds, he can dribble, he can pass the ball, he can score. Especially the ISO mid-range game, it's really underrated. Yeah. So I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit on him right now. Let's see in 2 weeks how because it's not like his slump has been for a month. It's been 2 or 3 games where he just hasn't hit shots. So I don't know. We'll see.
Right. What do you because I know this was kind of a lot of the conversation that happened against the Knicks. What do you make of the game or of the fouling that happened with in that game? Do you like games like that? I mean, I know that was kind of the conversation, but I mean, Harden shot or not Harden. Embiid shot 27 free throws.
Right.
Harden shot 10. I mean,
what did he hit? 25,
24, I think, of 27.
Yeah,
23, 23 of 27.
Yeah, he. I think he set his career high or something like that.
I mean,
in attempts and makes.
Not many people shoot 27 free throws in a game.
Right.
So I mean,
listen, that's their game. I mean, I'm sure I would hate it if I wasn't a Sixers fan.
Absolutely.
But that's the thing is we know how great Harden is, but Embiid as a center, right, a 7-foot center, he's really 7'2", but he is so great that you have to foul him because he's so great. And then
absolutely,
he might actually hit the shot and get the N1, but then he's so great that he's gonna hit the free throw. So it's greatness. I don't know what else to tell people. Don't foul him then. Let him get the bucket.
Exactly. No, I agree.
But yeah, and I thought the Sunday game was a little choppy in I thought it was the refs really called a bad game on both ends. But that's sports,
Oh,
you're always gonna get bad games by the refs, umps, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. All right. Did you have anything else that you want to talk about with this Sixers team?
Listen. So, looking. So it's been a fun 2 games. They played. Who they play? The Knicks and
Minnesota.
Minnesota. we're really gonna see these next couple of games what they're really made of. They come home to the Knicks and the Cavs, who are both, then I mean I don't even know if the Knicks are a playoff team, but the Cavs are in a playoff seed. The Heat, who are the number 1, they go to Miami. They play the Bulls, who are the number 2 right now. Then they play the Nets. I mean, it gets serious here these next 4, 5, 6 games. Then they go to the Magic, which that's always an easy one.
Right.
But then you got the Nuggets and the Cavs again, and the Mavs and the Heat and the Lakers and the Clippers and the Suns, like the Bucks. It's gonna get serious here. So
for sure.
I'd really they would have like 22 games left. I'd really like to see them rattle off like 17 or 18 of these 22.
Okay, which is possible with this offense. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see it. I'm like actively watching Sixers basketball, which I don't do all that often. I'll be honest. So yeah, now I'm excited to see what this team can do.
Yep, me too.
All right, are you ready for some Who Am I?
I am. I'm ready to go. I got to
ready,
redeem
all right.
myself. Going 1 for 1 last week.
So I got 2 this week. All right,
Okay.
two again. There's
right.
there's some good names.
Let me get comfortable here. Let me
comfortable,
massage the brain.
Relax. Yep, exactly.
All right.
All right, are you ready?
I think so.
All right, the first one. I was drafted by the Edmonton Oilers 6th overall in 1980.
Okay.
Okay. I played for 9 NHL franchises, including the Oilers, the Penguins, the Kings, the Red Wings, the Whalers, the Flyers, the Blackhawks, the Hurricanes, and the Bruins.
Okay. Patrick
Okay.
Sharp.
No.
No, he's not 1980. What the fuck am I talking
He
about?
was not drafted in 1980.
I tried to be so cocky with it.
I played in the NHL for 21 seasons.
Okay.
Number 4, I am Canadian.
Wait, hold on. Can you rattle off the teams again?
The Oilers, the Penguins, the Kings, the Red Wings, the Whalers, the Flyers, the Blackhawks, the Hurricanes, and the Bruins.
Okay, because I thought Pronger, but he's not 80, so
Right.
he was like 93 or something like that.
Early 92, maybe 93,
Okay.
right around there.
Well, go ahead. All right.
Number 4, I am Canadian, which I don't know how much it rules out. It's hockey. They're all Canadian.
Right.
Or most Canadian. Number 5, I am an 8-time All-Star.
Okay.
Number 6, I played for the Flyers in the 96-97 season and the 97-98 season. So I was here for 2 years.
Jesus. Okay. What number is this?
That was number 6.
Okay, we're dwindling down here.
Number 7, I was voted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2004.
Okay.
Number 8, I won 4 Stanley Cups.
Okay.
Okay. Number 9, I won 3 Norris trophies as the league's best defenseman.
Defenseman. Paul Coffey?
It is Paul Coffey.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. It's like such an out of the box name because he was so great, but he was only here for 2 years.
Yeah, that's
So I was trying to throw you a little curveball. That's why I went with him.
Yeah.
But,
So So the reason. So what was the last question you just said?
I won 3 Norris trophies.
You should probably shut the comments off for this, by the way.
Okay.
Because
well,
I just don't want to like.
No, I put that on the screen. I
okay.
comments. Did you not know that?
No, I knew that, but I just didn't know if you had shut them off. Okay, but go ahead. Yeah, what was the last question?
So the one that I said
Yeah.
was I won 3 Norris trophies as the
Okay,
league's
so
best defenseman.
the fact that he was on 100 teams and
The 4 Stanley
1980
Cups.
Yeah, the 4 Stanley Cups.
'Cause he won them all with the Oilers.
That put it
Right.
all together.
And then number 10, you probably would have gotten it at this point. I am widely regarded as one of the best defensemen to ever play in the NHL. It's kind of, I mean, when you talk about best defenseman, it's like, why the fuck am I drawing a blank? Bobby Orr and Paul Coffey are really like the two. Lidstrom maybe a close third or whatever. But so there you go. You got the first one.
It was just like a combination of things. Like I knew he'd play for the Flyers for a very short time.
Yep. Yep.
You know, I obviously he was like on the last of his, like he was at the end of. He wasn't as good as he was as 1984.
No. But he did play for 3 more teams after the Flyers.
Really? And he was inducted in 04. Well, how long do you have to wait until after you're inducted?
I don't remember for hockey.
I know for most sports it's like 5 years, but
yeah, I don't remember for hockey.
Yeah.
You might just have to be inactive, I think. But
Okay.
Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny too, which actually kind of reminded me of. So once you said defenseman, like the awards for defenseman, recently I had been talking to somebody. So I think I said on the show before I collect sports memorabilia. Like,
Right.
so I was talking to somebody recently about doing a trade, and he only had 97 or 96, 97 Flyers. Like for whatever weird reason, it's only that year. I was gonna do the Lindros. I have a Steve Carlton ball. I was gonna trade him,
Okay.
but because I personally like pictures, signed pictures more than anything, or jerseys. But I was gonna do the Lindros, but he was wearing the only Lindros he had was he was wearing the Canadian uniform, like
the Team Canada.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and his
That's
signature.
pretty cool.
Yeah, but like I want I want him to be like in the
Yeah,
Flyers
for sure.
So and the signature wasn't like all the way, like it wasn't thick, like it was like kind of not smeared, but like a little outdated. And so I told him, I was like, oh, I'll do Lindros. If you give me Lindros and Desjardins, I'll give you the Carlton ball. And he was like, nah, I can't do that.
Right.
I was like, oh, well, then I can't do that. Like, he was like, I'll just give you the Lindros. I'm like, honestly, I already told you. I don't care that he's Team Canada. Like, I want him in a Flyers jersey. Like, I'm very picky about what I like. So
no, I get that.
So
might as well be picky.
Yeah, just a little fun story.
Yeah,
that was a couple weeks ago.
All right, you ready for the second one?
I am.
I have a feeling you'll get this one. So
Okay.
let's see. I was drafted.
Did you not have a feeling I was gonna get Paul Coffey?
I just thought it was such a out of the box name because he was only here for a couple years. Like
Yeah.
obviously everybody knows Paul Coffey if you're a hockey
Right,
fan or
right.
whatever. But
And
I just
yeah.
just such a random name that people forget that he played here because it was again only 2 years.
And again,
So
to that story, he was one of the pictures in there too. I forgot to mention that. But
all right, so I was drafted 16th overall by the Tennessee Titans in the 1999 draft.
Okay.
All right, I went to
Javon
Florida
Kearse?
University. What?
Javon Kearse.
Jesus Christ! Seriously? Got fucking one clue in.
I'm good.
What the?
I've only got one wrong so far. What was that? 2 last week, 2 this week, and 1 the week before.
What the fuck? How did you get that quick?
Because I knew Kearse played for Tennessee at the. Honestly, it was just a guess. I'm trying to get as many guesses in as I can per question. So like,
I mean, all right. I mean, I'm gonna have to retire this game. Making them too easy. I named his draft year, and you get it off the top of it. All right.
Because I knew he played for Tennessee before.
So I'm gonna start the clues off by saying like I was born at this one hospital in this random ass city.
Do you know Mississippi? Do you know Mississippi has the most NFL players?
Really?
As a state, like California might be number 1, but like Mississippi, I think is number 2.
I would think like Texas. I mean, Texas is probably up there, but I would think like.
Or maybe it was like after California and Texas, like Mississippi's the next.
I mean, I guess I can see that. I mean, anywhere down south. I mean, Alabama probably produces a lot
Florida.
more than you would think. Florida, yeah.
Florida more so nowadays. Like this was a stat from like 5-6 years ago, so it could have changed by then.
Right.
But Mississippi has a high number of NFL players. Like I think Randy Moss,
right.
Jerry Rice.
Got that in one clue. I'm still mad.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want
what
me
were
to
your other clues? Yeah. What are your other clues?
10? I mean, you would have got it by clue like 3, if you got it that quick. But anyway, so the first one was drafted 16th overall by the Titans in the 99 draft. Number 2, I went to Florida University. Number 3, I spent 11 seasons in the NFL. Number 4, I won NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah. Number 5, I was the first team All-Pro my rookie year. I went to 3 Pro Bowls. I was credited with a safety in what is known as the Music City Miracle game.
Yep.
Number 8.
That would have definitely. Yeah.
Really? You would have got it. You would have got that. All right, number 8, I signed with the Eagles as a free agent in 2004 to an 8-year contract worth $65 million.
And if I didn't get it then, I would have probably gotten it then.
All right. 9, due to injuries and lack of production, the Eagles cut me in 2008, voiding the final 3 years of the deal.
Really, he was there that long. I didn't realize he was
2008.
There.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was. I thought he was here for like a year or 2. Honestly.
No, 2004 to 2008. Yeah. After getting cut by the Eagles, I signed a 2-year deal to return to Tennessee, where I would finish my career.
Oh, good for you, Javon.
Yeah.
The freak.
I can't believe you got that.
I had his jersey. That's why.
So that's how really he got drafted 16th overall by the Tennessee
No, I
Titans?
just knew he played for Tennessee. So listen, you could say he was drafted by Joe Schmo from fucking Kakamu. I mean, I know he played for the Eagles like at some point. So like,
true.
I just put 2 and 2 together, and I knew he went to school somewhere in Florida. But I think I got it in after the first question, not the second question.
It was. No, you got it in. Yeah, I said the first.
Okay, because I think I said it as you were saying the
you
second
said it
question.
as I was reading the second question. Yeah, but you.
And then that confirmed it, because I had said Javon Curse, and you said, as you were saying the question, you said what?
Florida.
And I said,
Yeah.
and yeah, so then I was like, yeah, Javon Curse.
Yeah. God damn. All right.
I love this game.
I mean, I'm gonna have to make them fucking impossible now, because you're
Oh.
what? You're 4 for 5.
4 for
I think I got
5.
5. Yeah.
4 for 5. Yeah.
You got the
only one I
Vicente
did.
Padilla.
Yeah.
Wrong.
What was the
Yeah,
first week?
The first week was who was the first? Trotter? Was it Trotter?
Trotter. Yeah.
I think it was Trotter. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not even upset that I didn't get Vicente Padilla. Like
No, I mean,
that was a crazy one. That was a good one.
yeah.
No, that was a good one. Yeah.
Apparently, those are the types of players I'm gonna have to get in order to stump you.
Listen, you
what
can
I
give me an easy one and a hard one.
Right. I thought these were a mix.
No, these were good. No,
I
these
thought
were
you
really
could have
good.
either got. Apparently, you never would have missed Javon Curse, but I think you could. Paul Coffey could have went either way. I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with that.
And it took you what 9 clues.
8 or 9,
so.
yeah.
All right, you ready to move on? Because we got something big that we need to talk about.
Yes.
On the show, right? I was able to. Hopefully, this works, right? So obviously, tomorrow when this episode goes up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the podcast platforms, it will be March. You know what
It's
March
my birth
means,
month, baby.
right? There you go. There's that. It's not what I was talking about. It's not what I was talking about.
We gotta wait a whole 29 days, baby.
But exactly. Happy early birthday.
Thank you very much.
But it's also March Madness, obviously, right?
Yes.
So in honor of March Madness, we will put together we've put together our own bracket, right? And this is something that we've debated on the show before many months ago. The most beloved Philly athlete of all time. Now I'm gonna try to put this on the screen. Let's see if it works. That kind of works, right? Can anybody see that? Anybody see that at all? Or is that too small? That's probably too small.
That's probably
isn't
a
it?
little too small.
All right, never mind. It was a good try. What about
I mean, we can just can we make it full screen and us know?
I'm trying to. It's not working. So
I mean, you can still leave it up there. We can read through them. Like it's not crazy.
Oh, true.
Like,
Yeah, no, true.
Um,
I plan on reading through it. So.
Yeah. So before we start anything, I just want to say, people are going to be really. We had been not debating this, but talking about this for the last day or two. People are going to be upset with these seedings.
For
Listen,
sure.
people, it's really not that deep. If I have one guy who's supposed to be number 1 or number 2, but we put him as number 4, like it's not that crazy because the top 4 most likely are going to go far in each of their categories. So like, maybe don't get your panties in a bunch, and like maybe like if you and I had said this to Mike earlier, if any of you people you don't like the list, make your own. How about that?
Exactly. So we have 64 names. Four divisions, conferences, whatever you want to call them. We have 16 Eagles players, 16 Phillies players, 16 Flyers players, and 16 Sixers players.
And this is not as easy as it looks either. Like
this took us like what 3 weeks to kind of come down with the list.
Like we were going back and forth about, because like 1 through 10 is easy, or 1 through 11 is fairly easy. When you get to like 12 through 16, it's like you have to pick through like 8-9 guys. It's like, who gets on the list. So it's like it's a very subjective subject. So like
For sure.
So like, I think we did the best. The way we looked at it was more so from like other, not necessarily our points of view, but from like an entire fan base points of view of who would be the most beloved.
Right, and a lot of the decisions sometimes just came down to like if it was a close between the two. I feel like we kind of skewed it more towards the younger audience because we haven't mentioned this yet, but we're gonna post these polls I think starting tomorrow, March 1st, and it's gonna be a Twitter poll, which I mean, it's no secret Twitter kind of skews to a younger audience.
Correct.
So when in doubt, we kind of went maybe a little younger, a little more modern, for that. So you ready to just kind of go one by one, matchup by matchup, and kind of break this down and maybe predict some of the round 1 matchups?
Yep.
So what division you want to start with first?
Let's go with the Birds.
All right, let's go with the Birds. All right. So number 1, I feel like isn't really debatable. Brian Dawkins.
Right.
Against number 16, Mike Quick.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, love you, Mike Quick. You got no fucking shot.
And listen, like Mike, we're not gonna break down every single one on why we picked this person here, but like
Right.
I feel like this is a good starting point. Like Mike Quick, we knew had to be on the list, but like where? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's so many other guys. Like there's guys that didn't make the list that you could argue, but like maybe not more than Mike Quick. Like it was just so tough. But yeah, nobody's. Yeah, he's not beating.
Right.
Brian
Number
Dawkins.
8, Brian Westbrook against number 9, LaShawn McCoy. This is a battle that could go down.
This is
as
going to
an
be epic.
all-timer.
This is an
Yeah.
epic one. This will probably go down to the wire.
Yeah, it probably
it's going to
will.
be close. I know who I'm going to vote for. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way. Honestly,
It could go either way. It really can. So
that's
let's
probably
go.
the best matchup this whole.
There's a couple good ones.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a couple good ones. Yeah. Number 5, Harold Carmichael against number 12, Darren Sproles.
yeah. Darren Sproles was a late one. You know, we
It
thought about
was.
him really late.
We did. We completely forgot about Darren Sproles,
yeah.
which maybe that means he's not that beloved, but people love Darren Sproles.
Like I said, maybe you and I don't love him as a top 16 Eagle of all time, but like other people probably do. So like that's the idea of it, is like we're trying to see it from everybody's point of view, not just our point of view.
Right.
And I like Darren Sproles. I really do. I thought he was a great player, but yeah, I don't know. Harry Carmichael's. You know, I've never watched Carmichael, but just looking at his stats, you know, it's gonna be a tough one.
Number 4.
But you never know, because it's the younger generation, so you never know on Twitter.
You really don't know.
I wouldn't be
It wouldn't
surprised.
surprise me if Darren Sproles won, but
Yeah.
you just hear all the stories about, all-time great Eagles wide receivers.
Right.
Carmichael's always on that list. So.
Right.
All right, that moves us on to the next matchup. Number 4, Jason Kelsey against number 13, Deshaun Jackson.
Listen, I love both guys, but again, I don't think it's that close.
Right.
I think the higher seed does a number.
Jason Kelsey. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it might be closer than maybe we think it will be, because
Okay.
there are people out there that do they do love Deshaun. But I mean, with the Super Bowl and the speech and
Yeah,
how
I can
long
see-
Kelsey's been here, I think Kelsey will take it.
I think I could see like a 60-40,
Yeah.
70-30 kind of Kelsey win.
All right, number 6, Zach Ertz. Number 11, Brandon Graham. This one, to me, I think is a toss-up.
Yeah, it could go either way. I mean, I know what way I'm going, but yeah, no, this is a fun matchup too. Could definitely go either way. Just kind of depends on who you like more. And I like Zach Ertz. He's not my favorite player of all time. I like the other guy a little bit more, but as we know from past shows,
if Brandon Graham loses in round 1, you have to take back your argument that he is up there with Bernie.
but it's my opinion.
No, well, not necessarily.
Yeah, it is. Again, this is all subjective.
Oh, sure, but the collection of the fan base doesn't think he's up there with Bernie.
Well, he's definitely not going to beat Zach Ertz, I don't think.
Okay. Well, then he's not up there with Bernie,
I disagree.
because then I'm not. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't have this argument right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We got a lot to get into. All right,
If Brandon Graham wins this, you're never going to hear the end of it. Like this round, I forget
but
the whole
sure,
thing.
and he might win the round. But even if he gets
now you're
bounced in-
saving yourself here.
No, but I don't think he will. But even if he does and he loses in round 2, that doesn't mean he's up there with Bernie. Like, the only way he's up there with Bernie is if he somehow makes the Final 4 or maybe the Elite 8. Those are the only ways that you could say he's up there with Bernie, which I don't think he gets to that spot.
I just think it's subjective.
Sure it is. Yeah, and I got you. Number 3, Randall Cunningham against number 14, Chuck Bednarik.
Yeah, I mean,
Two guys that neither of us have seen play.
right.
But you just hear the stories about Randall and all that, so I think Randall will move on.
Yeah,
pretty
for
easily.
sure. And you could argue Randall's the best or second best quarterback in franchise history. You know, I don't think there's many people who watch Chuck Bednarik play that are
For sure.
on Twitter. So
No, fair enough.
there's way more people that watch Randall Cunningham.
Absolutely. The next matchup might be the most intriguing on the bracket, and I think that we actually might. I think this might be the first upset of the tournament here.
Okay.
Number 7, Donovan McNabb against number 10, Nick Foles.
Listen, when you presented this idea to me, I had told you that I think most of these high seeds are going to go pretty far, but don't be surprised if Nick Foles runs the table here.
He might. You're talking first Super Bowl in franchise history.
Right.
You're talking Super Bowl MVP, beating Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Like
500
Nick Foles-
yards, yeah.
Nick Foles could go far. Or what was it, 7 touchdowns against the Raiders? 6, 7? whatever it was against
7,
the
yeah.
Raiders. Yeah, 7 against the Raiders. Like you're just talking about some great moments from Nick Foles, and
Yeah.
he was an average quarterback over the length of his entire career.
I wouldn't even say that, but
yeah, well, maybe below average. Just had a few flash in the pan moments, but
right.
just the moments that he did have with the Super Bowl, and I talked about all that. I mean, that puts him on another level among Eagles fans. So I could definitely see him going far.
Yeah.
And I think Donovan McNabb gets a bad rap from Eagles fans. I still think he's the best quarterback in franchise history. I don't even think that's necessarily a hot take.
No, I agree.
But I think it's a bad rap, so I could definitely see Foles winning this for sure.
If he's got a Super Bowl in his career, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Even without that, he should still be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree with you, but like, look at Troy Aikman's numbers. Like,
Yep.
there's like not the only reason, but like the big reason why he's in the Hall of Fame is because he has 3 Super Bowls. Like with good numbers. Like,
yeah,
it's very comparable to Donovan. Just doesn't have the Super Bowls.
Right, exactly. And you look who Aikman was throwing to and who his running back was.
And his
McNabb
offensive
had
line,
none of
his
that.
defense, yeah.
Right, yeah. Like McNabb, other than 1 year with T.O., was throwing to dog shit receivers. Like he just got a bad
James
rap.
Thrash and Pinkston and Freddie Mitchell. He did have the defense, the offensive line, and the running back though.
For sure, but he had good running backs. He never had an elite guy like Emmitt fucking Smith.
No, absolutely.
Like Westbrook's Deuces, like they were good running backs.
Right.
I don't think they were ever top 5 running backs in the league though.
Nah, probably not.
So, all right, number 2 Reggie White against number 15 Malcolm Jenkins.
It's going to be. Like. What'd you say?
I feel like it's pretty. I feel like Reggie White's running away with it, right?
Yeah. Malcolm is very much loved in this city. I feel like if we did guys most beloved Eagles in the last like 15 years, Malcolm probably could go pretty far.
Yeah,
but not against Reggie White.
Right.
Maybe if he faced somebody else in the first round, like if say hypothetically if he was against Donovan, like you might see Malcolm pull it out.
Yeah. I think a lot of the recent stuff with how outspoken he is in the political stuff people might tend to go away from a little more than maybe they were when he was here. So that kind of might turn people off. But all right, that's the Eagles bracket. So let's go on to the Phillies bracket then. Just go straight down.
Yep. I'm adjusting myself here. Sorry.
Okay, no, go for it. You're good. You all right?
Yeah, we're all good. I just kicked the fucking
no,
table.
You're good.
So.
Number 1, Mike Schmidt against number 16, Greg Lizinski.
Yeah. You get the greatest third baseman of all time. I don't think it's gonna be close.
No, me neither.
Neither of us have watched either of them ever, so before
True.
or anything,
Right.
So, but I have a feeling we're gonna go the same way.
I did have a baseball growing up signed by Lizinski, so there's
okay.
That.
Yeah,
there's
that's
that.
pretty cool.
I think I have it somewhere. I think it's right on there on the shelf right there. Number 8, Cole Hamels against number 9, Tug McGraw.
Yeah, I'd probably see Hamels winning this.
I agree.
He might not deserve it, but again, Twitter.
Yeah, but, true. Yeah, the younger generation going Cole. But I don't know. There's a lot of people that love Tug, and obviously he passed away and all that. So
I actually going back to Cole really quick. I'm not gonna say he's overrated, but a lot of people think he's a lot better than he was, in my opinion. And I love Cole. Like Cole, I was a pitcher growing up, so and I idolized Cole Hamels until Roy Halladay came around. But he was very good in the World Series. Obviously in that World Series he was great, the MVP. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he's as good as people say he is.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think Cole Hamels is great. Maybe he wasn't. He's not at the level of like a DeGrom or anybody like that. I don't think. But
like, do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
I'd have to look closer at his numbers.
Yeah, I don't think he gets it. It's close. It might be close.
It's like regular season wise, it might be close, but I think that World Series run might put him over the top.
Yeah, it's possible.
But it's probably borderline.
Yeah.
Number 5, Richie Ashburn against number 12, Darren Dalton.
Man.
2 guys that neither of us really saw either.
Yeah.
Tail end of Dalton maybe, but
both of them were very beloved. So
yeah,
from their generations.
Absolutely.
If you ask anybody from the age of 35 to 55, they'll probably say Darren Dalton is their favorite player.
Right.
But and the same thing with Richie Ashburn. The people, if you ask people of that era who their favorite player Philly was, it was probably Richie Ashburn. So it's close. I mean, it's probably. I mean, it's not going to be close because I think Dalton's going to take it away because more people have watched Dalton on Twitter than Ashburn.
Right. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting.
For sure. Number 4, Jimmy Rollins against number 13, Roy Halladay.
That's going to be tough, honestly.
It is.
I think that's going to be close. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't. With the upset. I love Jimmy's my favorite. Yeah, Jimmy's my favorite Philly of all time. But, like, don't be surprised, man, because Halladay's right behind him for me.
I guess, but, like, he's only here for a couple years. And
yeah. I'm not saying I'm not
really
trying to justify
one good year. Like, I don't know.
Well, he had more than one. He had two really good years.
Two really good years,
but 2 really great years actually. But
sure, yeah.
But like, don't. I'm not sitting here saying like it should happen. I'm just saying don't be surprised.
I won't be surprised
with the way Twitter goes
for sure. This one I think could go either way. Number 6, Ryan Howard against number 11, John Kruk.
Yeah, it could. I'm going to predict Kruk wins.
I think it'll be close.
People just hate Howard.
Well, they hate Howard, and then you hear Kruk in the booth and all that, so you get to see his personality shine.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see Kruk taking it.
And Kruk,
but at the same time, the Howard lovers love Ryan Howard.
Me
to another level. I mean,
I would actually say my 3 favorite Phillies ever were probably Rollins number 1, Howard number 2, and maybe Halladay number 3.
Yeah.
So, and Harper's getting up there.
Right. We'll get to him in a little bit. It's a tease.
We sure will.
Number 3, Steve Carlton against number 14, Jim Tomei.
Steve Carlton versus Tomei. I mean, I think Carlton's gonna win.
Yeah, I agree.
But I love Tomei. Like, he was probably the first. I think he's the first Phillies jersey I ever had.
Yeah.
So, obviously one of the giants of the games of us growing up, us as kids. Yeah.
When we talk about home runs, I mean, he was an all-time home run hitter.
Top 10.
Yep.
So we talked about that a couple weeks ago. But,
we did, yeah.
Yeah, I probably, yeah. I mean, if it's not Carlton.
I would be surprised if Carlton loses this one.
Yeah.
All right, the next matchup: number 7, Bryce Harper against number 10, Pete Rose. Now, Pete Rose, a little controversial, right? You have the whole, gambling thing going on there. But like, any argument that you hear against Hall of Fame and everybody, the first thing everybody says is Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. So I feel like from that, Pete Rose just seems like a beloved figure. I've heard some not so great things about like the type of person he is, so maybe that kind of goes against him. And it's
but Schmidt's an asshole too.
True,
but like
true. But listen, I mean, Bryce Harper won an MVP. He's old, he's great with the fans and everything. Bryce Harper, I think, will take this pretty handily.
You think?
I think so. Yeah.
I actually think it's going to be close. I think that going to your argument with like he should be in the Hall of Fame kind of thing. I agree. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying I think a lot of people are at the point where it's like they're angry he's not in the Hall of Fame and they like him more than they probably not. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like people like who are probably like 40 years old, 35, 40 years old, are so angry that he's not in the Hall of Fame that they didn't even really watch him play. Like they were 5 or 6 years old when he retired. So like, I just think people are so angry at the idea that he's not in the Hall of Fame that they like him more based off of that than his actual play because they didn't really see him play. The people that are 55, 60, 65, 70 years old who watched him play, there's an argument, but like, I don't know. I think it's going to be close, but I think Harper wins.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. The last matchup in the Phillies bracket, we have number 2, Chase Utley against number 15, Larry Boa.
I'm going to say it. Boa gets it. No, I'm just kidding. I think, listen, people love Boa. I love Boa. Obviously from, he's still with the organization. So like he's a lifer, which I think that's a difference between him and Chase is Chase is not a lifer. He's not really, a part of this anymore. And I think, it's kind of a shame. Like we should look at it the way that we look at Boa. Like, is this guy going to be a lifer? Like, is this guy a lifer? I feel like that's what makes people like Boa and Carmichael and even Bernie even more because they're lifers and they're going to die here. So like Chase is, that's his life and, he lives on the West Coast and, that's what he wants. And like, that's great. But I even kind of feel like the impact that he had on the city when he played, that maybe he should not he should be here, but it's kind of a letdown that he's not. And I love Chase. He's probably a top 5 Philly of mine. I like him a little bit less than other people do. Without him, they don't win a World Series. So the three of them were perfect together. But I'm gonna vote Chase here.
Yeah,
probably. So
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and I think Chase takes it pretty easily. So we can move on to the Flyers bracket now. Listen, everybody knows me, big hockey guy. I had so much problem thinking this list. I couldn't pick 16 guys.
I think this is the one list that, like, oh my god, I keep freaking kicking this computer. I think this is the one list where, oh my god, now it's the Charger. All right, so I think this is the one list that, not that you did by yourself, but I kind of let you take the lead on it,
right?
And maybe like had a comment here or there.
Right.
And, so this is anybody who's shitting on this. It's Mike. It's not me.
Wow. Throwing me right under the bus. You're throwing me under the bus and getting in the bus, driving back over me again.
And then forward once more.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm just kidding.
Number 1, Bernie Parent against number 16, Rod the Bod Brindamore.
I might just go Brindamore just to spite you.
It. Why not?
Just to spite you.
Nah, Bernie's taking it. It's... If Brindamore gets more than like 4% of the votes, I'd be surprised.
What are you going to do if Bernie doesn't win this whole thing?
He has a chance not to. I think he'll make the final. I think he'll make the final 4. He should have.
What would you do if he doesn't?
I don't know. Do you want me? What would you like me to do?
I don't know. I just want to know how you're what you would think. Like,
I mean,
how would you
I
feel?
would think it's a farce, right? It'd be a sham. But I don't know what I'd do. That's a good question. I guess we'll find out when that happens, if that happens.
Okay. No, I was just curious.
Number 8, Mike Richards against number 9, Wayne Simmons. This could really go either way.
Yeah. I know which way I'm going. One of those guys that you just named. What'd you say?
Said I still don't know which way I'm going.
So one of these guys that you just named is probably my top 4 or 5 favorite Flyers ever. And the other guy, I think. I love the way he played, but and he was a good player for a couple years, but I'm not like totally in love with him.
So
like
you're
the rest
vote
of
for Wayne Simmons is what you're saying.
No, I'm the other way.
No, the other way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Richards is probably the top 5 favorite Flyer of mine that I've ever watched.
I had that back.
And I think Simmons gets a little overloved, which he played hard as shit, and he had a couple 30-goal seasons. He was a good player. But I don't know. I'm gonna vote Richards probably, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah.
It's gonna be close. It's either Simmons is gonna crush him or it's gonna be really close. Either way, like I don't think Richards has a chance to like crush him.
I think it's gonna be an absolute battle. Like are we
talking about could be right.
We're talking about the other side of the bracket with Westbrook and
right
and LaShawn McCoy. I think this one's also gonna be a
and listen,
battle.
You know Flyers Twitter better than I do. Like I have a little bit of a inkling, like I'm in it a little bit, but not as much as you are. So like, I don't know. Maybe
you could go either way.
Yeah, maybe you see that people like Richards more than I see people like Simmons. But yeah, like I said, it's either Simmons is going to crush him or it's going to be really close.
Yeah,
I don't see it going any other way other than those 2 ways.
All right. Let's go to the next matchup. Number 5, Rick Taki against number 12, David Hammer Schultz.
Again, it's a generational thing. If we were doing this 20 years ago, it might be different. Or 30 years ago, it might be different.
People fucking love Rick Taki.
Yeah, no, I know. It's not going to be close.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, Rick Taki's going to take that one. Number 4, Eric Lindros against number 13, Ron Hextall. Now, if you're talking about
right,
like his playing days, Ron Hextall should be a lot higher on this list.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people are soured on Ron Hextall because of his general manager duties. Right.
Yeah,
so that's why he's further down on this list.
Listen, growing up, and we had talked about it when Brian Propp was on the show. Like growing up, you and I watched videos of Ron Hextall beating the shit out of people.
Yep.
It's so funny because I'm not gonna say I hate him because I don't know him personally, but I don't like him as a GM so much that it's ruined the way that I viewed his like highlights as a player.
Me neither, but some people do.
No, I'm saying it does for me.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. No. Like I am so upset with the way that this
Yeah. Okay. I
franchise has
misheard you.
gone
Alright. Yeah.
that I'm equating his playing days to his GM days, and that's probably not fair. But I
Yeah,
just kind of don't.
I don't do that. I look at them as two separate entities.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
same way that I look at Bobby Clark's
Logically, yes, yeah.
general manager days different
Yeah.
than his playing days.
No, you look at it logically, unlike me. I'm just saying.
But you're not alone there. A lot of people do that.
No, absolutely.
Which is
but,
why
like,
I thought it was reasonable to put him at 13, because like if he's never a general manager of this team, you could argue he's a top 5 or 6 flyer,
absolutely.
Favorite flyer of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
So
like no, that's going to be the issue. Like you said, it's just I'm going to vote a certain way based on the last 5, 6, 7 years that he's here, and I kind of don't give a fuck.
Right.
So
right. But yeah, I mean, Lindros should take it. People love Lindros.
Yeah.
So, let's move to the next one. I think this one could be a battle too. Number 6, Mark Recchi against number 11, Simone Gagne.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough for me too. I mean, Gagne is probably a top 5 favorite flyer of mine that I watched, but Mark
Recchi was so good. I think he takes this. But there's a section of the fan base that loves them. Some Simone Gagne.
That's me.
So, yeah.
Given that, I don't know which way I'd go yet.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be a tough one. That's definitely going to be a good battle.
Number 3, Claude Giroux against number 14, Mark Howe.
It's a shame because Howe was...
He was great.
Yeah.
He was great, but he's almost... I think he's underrated, where like the fans don't really talk about him among Flyers greats, which is why I have him so low, on this list. And Claude Giroux, I mean, people love Claude Giroux. I mean, obviously he's still active, so the younger community loves him. I think Claude Giroux takes this pretty handily.
Yeah. No, for sure, I agree. It's not going to be close.
Next matchup, number 7, John Leclerc against number 10, Danny Briere.
Oh, Leclerc and
This could be
Briere.
close.
So Leclerc.
I would take Leclerc, but again, people love Danny B. He's
That's
clutch
me.
playoff times. Yeah,
Dude, every single time you say like people love this guy, it's me. Just say it at me.
Right. At you, yeah. I will at you next time though.
Yeah, no, it's tough because when I first started watching hockey, it was the end of Lindros and Leclerc and Roenick and those guys, and my mom's favorite player was Leclerc. So like, it's gonna be a tough one, but I loved Briere so much. Yeah, I don't know which way I'm going yet. That's gonna be a tough one.
That could go either way. Then the last matchup with the Flyers bracket, Bobby Clark, the 2 seed, taking on the 15 seed Bill Barber.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty obvious.
Bobby Clark takes that.
Yeah,
pretty handily.
Guess what? We actually we missed one that I thought of.
Did we?
Actually, two.
Fuck, am I gonna have to redo this list even though after this comes out?
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell me who did we miss here?
Scotty Hartnell. People loved Hartnell. It's not about playing style. It's not about stats.
For what they represent, I feel like you hear Barber's name among the all-time greats, and more than you hear.
I'm not talking about greats. I'm talking about beloved.
I understand. Yeah, I get you.
I would say him and maybe like even like Timonen or somebody like that. Like, I don't think Pronger was here long enough.
Right, for sure.
But I think Timonen and Hartnell could have made this list somewhere.
For sure. Yeah, maybe.
I'm not saying we should put them on. I'm just saying.
Right. No, I think it's close.
No, we're gonna keep it the way it is.
That's not a glaring omission that like I feel like I have to change shit up. So
Hartnell's close, man. I don't know.
Nah, I don't think it's that. I don't know. I didn't love.
No, I'm not saying you should change it. I'm just saying I think you could hypothetically like switch Hartnell out for who's 16. Brind'Amour? Yeah, I think
was Brind'Amour. Yeah.
I think you can put Hartnell 15 or 16.
I think people love Brind'Amour, but I mean maybe.
maybe.
I
don't know.
The argument.
Yeah.
I actually think you could put a guy like Keith Primo in over Hartnell.
So I disagree. I think people loved, Keith Primo was the first Flyers jersey I ever had.
Yeah,
so like,
I love Primo.
Me too. But I just think the way Hartnell played and like just the whole Hulk Hogan thing and like he matched the city,
Yeah, no, for sure, I get you.
And
Fair
again,
enough.
I'm not talking about from you or your point of view or my point of view.
Right. No, I get you.
See, even Michael over here.
Yeah, I'm already getting criticized for my list. Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Listen, I got criticized before it even came out, so
that's true. All right,
fucking boomers.
Does
he listen to the show?
He hops on once in a while.
I hope he listens to this.
He pops in and out.
Yeah, you should absolutely tell him to listen to this because this is where it gets good.
That is true. And for anybody that doesn't know, I unveiled this list to somebody I worked with earlier, and they were ripping apart, some of Dom's selections. So
Right.
Dom's a little fired up about it.
I sure am.
So let's go to the Sixers bracket now.
Because that's what it's about.
I'm gonna preface
This is where I got ripped.
This is where you got ripped. I'm gonna preface this by saying I challenge anybody listening to name their top 16 Sixers ever.
Yeah.
After number 7 or 8, it gets fucking impossible. All right, I'll just say that. So things get a little funky, right, at some point during this list.
Yeah, dude, I remember a couple weeks ago, like you said, this has been 2-3 weeks in the making. Like a couple weeks ago, I texted you a list, and I was like, dude, I don't even know if I can come up with 16 guys.
It's very tough.
Right. It's incredibly tough. Like there are guys on here that probably like some people have never heard of, some people definitely have never seen. It was a wild list.
It was, absolutely. So let's just start then. Number 1, Allen Iverson against number 16, Hal Greer. Iverson should win 100% to 0.
You could argue Iverson might win this whole thing. You could argue.
I actually don't. I'm not convinced he's going to win the Sixers bracket.
I think he's going to make the. I think he might make. I think he might make the finals.
With what Embiid's doing this year, it wouldn't surprise me if Embiid, upsets him later in the tournament. Wouldn't shock me.
If you ask Sixer fans who they'd rather have, prime Embiid or prime Iverson, and who they loved more, I think they go Iverson.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it could go either way.
My prediction for this is going to be Dawkins versus Iverson.
Okay.
Throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, so. I think Dawkins will make it. Yeah, I think Dawkins hands down comes out of the left side of the bracket.
All right, we'll talk about that. Let's keep going with the Sixers. So I didn't mean to,
Right. So I think Iverson.
That is it right there. Exactly, Chip.
Top Sixer, Hall of Fame, and total culture. Yeah, I mean
the culture change. The culture change is the biggest thing.
Absolutely. And you look at the guys he played with. I mean, he really didn't have anybody
right
on the court with him that's some all-star, some all-time great. He was just doing it by himself and putting up stupid numbers.
There was a conversation.
Carried that team to a finals. There
was a conversation going on. Who was the best player Iverson played next to in his Sixers career? And it was like, Mutombo was really good, but like, was it Aaron McKee? Was it, Eric Snow? Like these guys were like not good.
Right.
they were decent players. Like Eric Snow stepped up, and like McKee really stepped up to be like the sixth man. But like, I don't know.
Where did you have Aaron McKee ranked? Do you think he's?
I didn't put him on. I didn't.
The outside looking in.
Yeah, I didn't. I wanted to put like other legends on here. I mean, people did love McKee, obviously Temple, but like, I think we kind of left him off this list. I just don't think he played here long enough, really.
What about Weber?
No.
Weber
was shot by the time he came here.
That's fair.
He was done.
That's definitely fair.
He was a good player. He was a really good player in Sacramento, but he was done by the time he came here.
Right. And listen, I'll be honest. We wanted to make this Sixers bracket a little funky, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
And it gets a little funky here with the 8-9 matchup. Andrew Toney against my favorite player in the city, Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah. Listen, Andrew Toney was loved. Obviously he went against those 80s Celtics teams. Really quick, this comment, Andre Iguodala would be best with Iverson. Dude, they only played like a year or two together. Like it wasn't a long time. You could argue that though. Yeah, I mean,
it was a young Iguodala too.
Yeah, but anyway, getting back to the bracket, Andrew Toney, obviously an 80s beloved player, got under the Celtics skin. I think he was the sixth man. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know, but good defensive player. I think he put up like 7-8 points a game. Like he was the agitator. And he got under like Danny Ainge's skin, and like he people loved him. Like, like people would love him now if he played now.
Right.
But I mean the way that the city's going right now, Tyrese.
And that's exactly what this comment is. It's so tough because Maxey is most beloved now. Like right now, people are going batshit insane for Tyrese Maxey. Right.
Exactly.
So,
Chip is exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the young people voting on Twitter, I think could skew this in Maxey's favor.
Right.
So, All right, number 5, Wilt Chamberlain against number 12, Doug Collins. I feel like this is kind of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like nobody watched Will. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's respectful to put him in the top 5. He's not number 4, 3, or 2, or 1. Like
No,
it's
but it's a legend of the Sixers. You always
right.
hear
Like you
about Wilt
have
Chamberlain,
to,
and
right.
you have to put him among the all-time greats.
And he's gonna win this first round.
He should,
But
yeah.
he's not gonna beat Iverson or anything
He's
like
going to
that.
lose in the second round. And that,
Right.
is the teaser because in the second round, he's going to face Julius Erving, who in the first round plays Bobby Jones. I mean, Dr.
Yeah.
J takes this one, right?
Yeah, for sure. And this is where it gets spicy. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I
Go
get a
ahead.
text message today.
Rant right now.
I get a
Do
text
it.
message today from my lovely co-host Mike Gilletto. So again, like we said, somebody he works with was very upset that Dr. J wasn't number 1 or number 2. Listen, this guy, whoever he is, clearly has not watched basketball since 1985. If he thinks that Iverson is not number 1 and Joel Embiid and Charles Barkley are not above Dr. J, all 3 of those guys, culturally, social media wise, whatever it is, Dr. J is an all-time legend. He's a Hall of Fame player, an all-time great Sixer. He is not top 3. I'm sorry, he's not.
Yep.
Like I said earlier in the show.
Spit your facts down.
Like I said earlier in the show, I invite him to come on the show if he wants to come on the show and debate with me. But listen, I respect the way that and I'm just busting balls here, but
For
like,
sure.
and I respect Dr. J, and I respect the way that the fans love him. But a lot of those people haven't watched basketball since Dr. J. Like they stopped watching after the mid '80s Sixers broke up, and they didn't come back when Charles was running the team, or Iverson, or now Joel. Like it's respectful to put him where he's at, in my opinion. Number 4.
For sure. All right, let's move on to the next matchup then. Number 6, Moses Malone against number 11, Billy Cunningham.
Yeah, man. Moses wasn't here long, but he was loved. He left Houston. I think he won a title before coming here. The year before coming here, he comes here, he wins another title with the Sixers in '83. I mean, totally beloved guy. And who's he going against?
Billy Cunningham.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Cunningham was the '70s, before the Dr. J era, the Moses era. And he was the Sixers in the '70s, and he was a very good player. I believe he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not 100% sure, but a great player. He was not a great coach. I see him losing this round
to Moses Malone.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree.
And I think just based on name too, like if I'm sure a lot of Twitter's not that they know who Moses Malone is. They don't
For sure.
They might not know who Cunningham is.
For sure. Yeah, and I agree. It won't matter because they'll lose in the next round. Where, listen, the next matchup, number 3 Joel Embiid against number 14 Andre Iguodala. I mean, what Embiid's doing this year, he's a fan favorite. He should win an MVP. People love him.
Right.
It's Joel Embiid hands down here.
Right. Yeah. And listen, when I keep going back to this, but this top 4, really, I mean, I don't think you could put Wilt anywhere other than 5. But this top 4 of Iverson, Embiid, Charles, and I mean, spoiler alert, Charles is in the top 5, but in the top 4, and Dr. J. Aside from Iverson being number 1, you could do 2, 3, 4 any other way you want with those 3 guys. So like, it's just a matter of it's subjective. It's just a matter of who you think is more beloved right now, and I just don't know if people. And I keep going back to this guy, but like, I just don't know if he realizes how impactful Joel Embiid is right now. Like,
right now, full disclosure to anybody listening, you said that I basically put together the Flyers list. I did the same. I let you do the same thing with the Sixers. Right. You're the bigger basketball guy than I am. How close were you to putting Joel second as opposed to Barkley?
Not at all, actually.
Okay, you didn't even think. Yeah,
no. Obviously, again, I wasn't alive to watch Barkley, but right. I think people love Barkley so much from his playing days and respect him so much. Listen, I've said it. I think I said it on Drunk on Broad a couple weeks ago. Like, there are a handful of guys who have never won a championship but are considered winners. Like, right. Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson. You know, the list goes on and on. And you know, I think Charles is definitely a winner. Like he represents Philadelphia. He's on TNT, and people love him on TNT. I love him on TNT.
That's a part that I think is big is the fact that people see his personality and they love that part of him.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, people love him for that.
Yeah, and I respect what Chip says here. Like, you know, he spent a lot of time with Phoenix. He went to a finals with Phoenix. Like, I get that. But like, I don't know. I just think he had a very, very, very big impact, and people still love him now, and he still represents Philadelphia, like to a certain degree.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, this next matchup gets a little weird. I'll be honest. So number 7, Maurice Cheeks, against number 10. He's been here for 2 whole games. we had to do it, right? People love him right now. James Harden.
I can't believe James Harden is going to win this whole bracket. How nuts is that? After 2 games,
right? Exactly.
Oh boy,
we had to get a little spicy. Who else
Yeah.
are we going to put there? And again, I challenge anybody to name 16 great Sixers. You can't do it; they don't
right.
exist.
Maybe Chip was right. Maybe it should have been Aaron McKee on here.
Maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, honestly, like Mo Cheeks, I believe who's gotten the Hall of Fame a couple years ago. He should win this based off of respect and the fact that James Harden has played 2 fucking games. But there is no shot in hell that James Harden is losing this.
No shot. Oh, it's gonna be.
I might be a part of it.
Listen, we're all hard for Harden. I'll just say that. All right. So the last matchup in the entire bracket: number 2, Charles Barkley against number 15, Darryl Dawkins.
Yeah, I think what I just said recently, not a couple minutes ago. Darryl Dawkins was, you know, a sight to see. He was a lot of fun to watch in those 70s games. Broke the backboard a couple times, like shattered the glass. Like he was powerful.
Yep.
But I just think Bubba Chuck's gonna run the table here. I think I don't think it's gonna be close.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I don't really think it's up for debate really all that much. So.
Right.
All right, well that's the bracket. Listen, I hope we have a lot of fun with that. I'm gonna start those. I'm gonna start those polls tomorrow.
Okay.
So I think.
Yeah.
Let me get this out of here. Oh, there you go.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait for the chaos.
And I'm planning on doing the entire first round this week.
Okay.
And then next week maybe we'll talk about the results, talk about previewing the second round, and then we'll kind of fly through the second round maybe.
Yep.
After that, so that's kind of what I'm thinking.
And that should lead us right into March Madness.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I don't know a thing about college basketball really until I'm not gonna say I even know it all, but I like everybody else to do the March Madness brackets.
Yeah, you got to watch a little bit of the tournament. Of
course.
It's an event. You got to be a part of it.
I haven't watched 1 second of college basketball this year, mainly because I don't like it's not as fun when there's not somebody who's the clear number 1,
right?
The Zions or the I'm trying to draw Joel, Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid, like those kinds of like top 3 pick guys.
Ben Simmons. Oh wait, he wasn't in the tournament. That's right. Yeah.
But like when there's not that clear number 1 guy, it's a little bit harder for me to like follow. But I say this every year, and I am wrong every fucking year. The Zags are gonna win. Gonzaga. They're the 1 seed right now.
People love them every year.
Yeah,
it's everybody gets
at
fooled
me
by
again.
Zaga, yeah.
I love Gonzaga every year, and they never win.
They're the same as Michigan State. Michigan State's always hyped up every year.
Yeah.
They never do shit.
Yeah. It's I filled out a couple brackets last year. I had Michigan and Gonzaga winning. One half I had Gonzaga on all these brackets, and then Michigan on all these brackets, and neither of them worked out. But I think Zaga went to the finals for the national championship, and they lost.
Sounds about right.
To Baylor.
Listen, I'll be watching it. It'll be fun.
I could
when
be
does
wrong.
That start? I mean, it's got to be mid-March, right?
Yeah. It's usually mid-March. I think Selection Sunday is like the second Sunday in March, maybe.
Okay.
So it usually starts it's Selection Sunday, and usually it starts Thursday, like that Thursday.
Right. I'm trying to find it. Selection Sunday is March 13th. The first 4 are March 15th and 16th. First round, March 17th.
Wait, so Selection Sunday is the 13th.
13th.
Then what's after that?
The first four, I guess they're the playing games. Are
March
yeah. 15th and 16th.
Yeah, for those last seeds, yeah.
Right, and then the first round starts March 17th and 18th.
Okay. Yeah.
So
should be a lot of fun.
It should be.
They got Chet. I don't know if you followed at all college basketball this year, but
I haven't this year.
Chet Holmgren sounds like. Did you ever see the Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah,
it kind of sounds like a character from the Fairly Odd Parents, or like, he sounds like a comic book character, like Chet Holmgren. Like
I could definitely see it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So he's supposed to. He's like the guy at Gonzaga. Like he's like, he's like 7'2", but plays like Durant. Like it's crazy.
Right.
And he's like this like skinny white kid. Like.
Right, exactly.
It's funny.
Listen, I have to have something to look forward to because it doesn't seem like baseball is going to start anytime soon.
Right.
And we kind of transition to that a little bit.
I love that transition.
There's no. The update is that there's not really an update. Apparently today was supposed to be the deadline in order for them to push back the season. I haven't seen an announcement of them pushing back the season or canceling games. So that seems like a fake deadline. Things need to happen pretty much now. In order to avoid canceling games, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen. They still seem far apart.
Right. So I actually had something here right as we started the show and our intro came on. I was scrolling through Twitter really quick, and this was the latest thing that came out.
Okay.
So this was as of an hour and a half ago. From Evan Drillich. He's a verified account, baseball writer, was retweeted by. Listen, we're gonna get a little political here. Jake Tapper from CNN. I don't,
okay.
This is what he was retweeted. I'm not saying anything other than that, but he's a big Phillies guy. He's actually a big Phillies fan.
Okay.
He retweeted it. It says, "Sources: a deal is not close, but not impossible. The CBT thresholds, pre-arb pool big issues. Among others, MLB has proposed two choices: A, and I think we were gonna touch on it a bit." A 14-team expanded postseason minimum of $700K to $40 million into the pre-arb pool, or B, a 12-team expanded postseason with $875K minimum, $20 million intro pre-arb pool.
Okay, I mean
it's not that. Yeah,
it's not really a huge update because they're still far apart, but it's not impossible.
Right,
Thanks.
right.
Thanks.
but now they're coming out with the things that what they're arguing. Like part of the reasons why they're arguing, like. We weren't really sure of exactly what was going on.
This is why it was so asinine in all of December and all of January to not even have any sort of conversation. They weren't even talking.
Right. It was until after the new year, yeah.
That part pisses me off.
Yeah.
But,
so what do you think about that, the expansion?
I mean, 14 teams sounds fucking nuts, personally.
It's insane.
No, I get why they're doing it, and I know a lot of people criticized when they originally brought the second wild card.
Which I like.
I like the second wild card. I think it's dumb that they do one game. I think it should be at least a best of three. I think the one game playoff is dumb.
I like the one game.
I think it's in baseball when the whole entire season is done in series. I think it's dumb to have a season ride on one game.
Makes a lot of sense. I understand. Yeah.
So I prefer 3 games. I think is fine because you don't have to go the full 7 or even 5. 3 I think is a good number.
Right, but I also
I like the play, or I like the extra wild card because it keeps teams engaged. It keeps fans involved and more interesting. And
the thing that I like about the one game is that in a game that isn't a ton of strategy from the manager, that's one game you have to have a lot of strategy and like.
Sure, and another reason I could see somebody making a point for the one game is that makes winning the division so much more important.
Right.
Because now you have one game, you got to throw your ace out there, obviously. He's not going to be ready for game 1 of the next series. So, I get it, but I just would
it's all strategy, yeah.
I would prefer a 3-game series.
I can see that. But that's 14 teams is insane. What are they going to shorten the season and make the postseason long? Like you can't play in October.
No, I think
you have to play every day.
I think it's 14 teams is nuts.
It's insane.
I mean, well, I guess the way they're looking at it is percentage.
Even 12
of teams,
is insane.
Right? I think they're looking at percentage of teams, right? You look at the NBA, 16 of how many teams are in the NBA? 30, 31, 32?
32, something like that.
30, yeah, probably 30, I think. So that's that's more than 50%, right?
Right.
You look at the NHL, 16 teams get in, there's 30.
Well, it's 16,
teams.
yeah, 16 and 6. What's 16 and 16? 32?
Yeah.
It's 16 and 16, yeah, for the NBA.
No, it's 8 and 8. Oh, you're talking about division, the conferences?
Yeah,
16?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so they're 32. All right. So that's 50%.
Right.
The NHL, 16 of 32 make it. That's 50%. 14 of 30 MLB teams, it's roughly 50%. So I get what they're doing. They're trying to do percentages, but it's too much.
I don't think they're trying to do, and I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a smart I think that's a smart thought. But to be honest with you, I think the whole reason is they just want more to make more money.
Yeah, no, sure.
Yeah, that's what it
money's
is.
a
I
big
don't
part of it,
think they
sure.
give a shit about percentages. I think they just care about making more money.
Oh, for
like,
sure. I'm sure that's part of it. But
and you're gonna see teams like who are 79 and 83 make the playoffs. Like
sure.
that's that's not fun baseball to watch. Like
No, absolutely. No, I agree with you. But I think they look at the other leagues, and I mean, nobody really looks at basketball. I mean, maybe basketball because basketball is a whole other animal. But I don't think people look at hockey and say, "Oh, too many teams get in," but 16 of 32 teams get in.
right.
You know what I mean? So
See, but then it used to be round robin, right?
hockey, nah.
Or wasn't it not round robin? It was like a top. It was like 1 through 16, wasn't it?
No,
It wasn't 8 and 8.
It was 1 through 8. Yeah, it was.
No, I'm talking about like in the 80s, like in the 70s and 80s.
No, it wasn't.
Well, how did the Flyers play the Islanders in the finals?
Well, the divisions were different.
Are you sure?
Yeah, well, there also weren't 32 teams. There was 20, 25.
No, I got you, but I'm just saying. I thought it was 1 through 16, and it was just you played.
I don't believe so. I think the divisions were just different.
Okay.
They realigned the divisions in 93, 94, right around there.
I always thought the Islanders were in the division, though.
I'll have to double check.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll get back.
Regardless.
To that. Yeah, I wasn't alive then, Dom.
Yeah, I mean, me either. So how would we know? But
right.
yeah, no,
by a
I
simple
just,
Google search, I'm sure,
I just don't see this being a good positive thing. 12 teams, 14 teams in the playoffs. Like, I really don't want to see. I don't know, the Miami Marlins, who are, just scratching to get in,
For sure.
lose in the first round. Like, it's just not fun to me. It's like basketball. Like, basketball, the 1 seed always beats the 8. Like, it's so rare when the top 4 seeds lose to the bottom 4 seeds. Like,
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
it's in basketball, the first round is a waste of time.
It is. I know. I agree 100%.
So, okay, yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have this week. Before we get out of here, I know you have something that you wanted to talk about, so I'll let you take it.
So a couple weeks ago, I got the news that a friend of mine, 26 years old, his nickname Shuvi. He, like I said, 26 years old, diagnosed with now this is a pretty big word for me. Stage 4 desmoplastic small round cell sarcoma. It's in parentheses DSRCT. It's a type of cancer that is very aggressive around the soft tissue sarcoma. This basically means that the cancer formed, in the tissues of the body, like the fat, the muscles, the tendons, all that. There's only been 200 cases since 1989.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it's there's really like, if this could happen to anybody, he is the last person on earth that deserves to go through this. Right. He's the type of guy that walks into a room, lights up the room, makes you feel better about yourself, better about other people, just makes you look at life differently. I get chills every time I think about it. It's total shock. And being somebody my age, like, the whole Limblom thing, like it's,
right.
You think how young these people are, and like, we're not, nobody's safe,
Right.
Life is very, very, very cruel sometimes.
Yep.
But I just wanted to give him a shout out. There's a GoFundMe. I think we could share that on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, I'll put it in the description. I'll share it on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah. Sure. I believe he's a master's student. But he's looking to go to, or he was looking to go to medical school. But him and his family could really use anything you could give them. Whether that's, a donation or a share on Facebook or wherever. But we will post links on Twitter, Facebook. If anybody could do anything, whether it's, if you believe in prayer, if you believe in thinking of people into the universe, if you believe in, donating money, do whatever you can,
right.
For us, for humanity, for, there were people who submitted $1,000 anonymously. And like,
yeah,
it really shows you there are good people in this world. Like there's more good people in this world than bad. You just see the bad a lot more. And this kind of gives you hope again that like people really are genuine and there are good people out there. But life can be really cruel at any moment, and just kind of hug the people that you see every day, the people that you love, tell them you love them, and just like I said, if you could donate, that's great. But if not, at least please share it. Super super great dude. So
yeah, I mean that's something nobody should go through, let alone a 26-year-old.
Right.
And not only is that demanding emotionally and physically, I mean, again, just financially, it's a burden. So we'll definitely share those links.
Anything anybody can help with, it would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. So we don't mean to kind of end on a sour down note. So yeah, no, we'll share those out, and I think that's all we had this week. Anything else on your mind before we get out of here?
No, man. I am excited for the Sixers team to keep rolling. I'm excited for March Madness. I'm excited for our pool. I can't wait for that to get going.
We will start that tomorrow, March 1st.
Right. Yep. So,
all right. Let's get out of here. Again, find the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Phired Up Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Let everybody know about the show. And we will see everybody next Monday.